Speaking of rushing the field, never has rushed the field in his life. He's over there playing the Platters That Matter and the Stacks of Wax, hanging out in his little booth. Still has Chuck behind him along with Billy Neighbors. It's my man, Coach Chris.
Do you know who I am?
Who in the blue hell are you?
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and pollen.
I'm telling you, there's an embarrassing press conference in that kid's future.
You don't ever say that to me. Bullcrap.
There won't be any misinformation. There won't be any false statements. There won't be any hearsay.
How come there ain't no Puerto Ricans on Star Trek?
You ask me those kind of questions, it really pisses me off.
Tom, can you get me off the hook? For old time's sake.
You ask a question every week that I don't know anything about.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
You do what everybody else in the media does, just create some and throw it on the wall and see what sticks.
I ain't gonna be buried. I want a taxidermist to stuff me. Say hello to my new friend!
Hey, yo. Look at you with the lines now. Look at you with the lines on the bottom line. What is up with that? You got the lines on the bottom line with that. That's a good job by you, man.
We're going legit right now. We're trying to help you all out there, you know, with your picks and everying and what's going on.
So
this
you're
weekend.
Considering that those games will be in Beat the Big Dog and maybe
Sure.
the Friday Trifecta. Right?
I just thought that they were ones that were reflected on us, and I just kind of was bored. I think you were talking to Tom Luganbill when I did it or something.
We'll have to add a hook to them. But, yeah, we'll put Nebraska, Oklahoma in there. Of course, Bama, Florida will be in there. By the way, that's 17 and a hook now, Bama, Florida. Auburn, Penn State will be in there. That's hovering around 7 and a hook. But that's cool. You put them on the
I just couldn't put, like, Clemson, Georgia Tech.
No.
And, you know, I couldn't do Notre Dame, Purdue, because, like, Purdue could come, like, upset Notre Dame because Toledo almost did. So, you know, you don't know what that game's going to do. I mean, Michigan's playing Northern Illinois, and I'm scared for Michigan's life in that game, too. How do you make Michigan a 27-point favorite against Northern Illinois when I've seen Northern Illinois come into Bryant-Denny and embarrass Alabama?
Wait a minute. When did Northern Illinois ever embarrass Alabama at Bryant-Denny
When Michael
Stadium?
Turner ran all over Alabama. You don't remember that?
How long ago was that?
Early 2000s.
Who won the game?
Northern Illinois.
You don't remember that? The last one like that I remember is the Louisiana Monroe game.
Yeah.
I must have blocked the rest of it from my mind.
Yeah.
I guess Northern Illinois.
1916.
But what the hell does that the hell does a game 20 years ago have to do with Michigan beating a
Northern Illinois is kind of like that App State team where it's like, you know, you got them on the schedule and they're really scary to play. Like, seriously, they can come out of nowhere and upset somebody.
I
like,
think
seriously.
Michigan will cover. I think Michigan will probably cover.
You think 27?
Yeah. They damn near covered 27 against Washington. You think Washington's better than Northern Illinois?
I don't know about that. Pac-12's pretty bad.
We'll definitely have Nebraska, Oklahoma. We got to have it anyway because it's Nebraska, Oklahoma, and they haven't played in 100 years. We'll have that. We'll have Bama, Florida in there. We'll have Auburn, Penn State in there. But then we'll mix in 3 NFL games. So looking at the early NFL lines, I'm trying to think which game should we put in there. Raiders getting 5.5 at Steelers. That might be got some juice to it. How about Buffalo minus 3.5 at Tua in Miami?
Ooh, that might be.
That's a good one. I think we'll put that one in there. That one will be in there. Let's see what else is in there that's any good. Rams, Colts, no. 49ers, Eagles, no. No. Jags, Broncos, bleh.
Not Giants, Washington.
Atlanta's getting 13 in a hook at Tampa Bay.
Hey.
That's not going in there. Tennessee is getting 5.5 at Seattle. Not enough, and that's not going in there.
Cowboys and Chargers.
Cowboys and Chargers is kind of sexy.
Chiefs and Ravens. Did you say that already?
Oh, no, Chiefs and Ravens is in. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
And then we'll go with the Monday night one as maybe something like that. So those 3 will probably be in there. So probably going to be, well, do you like, I think you got to have
Lions
Bills and
Packers.
Dolphins. Huh?
Yeah, that was the Monday. I was just looking at the Monday night game.
I think that one Lions-Packers is in.
Yeah?
I think Lions-Packers is in because it's Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
I think that the Chiefs and Baltimore is in because it's Sunday Night Football. So I got to have one other NFL game. Do we put in Bills and Dolphins, or do we put in Raiders and Steelers? I think it's between those two. Or do we put in Chargers and Cowboys?
I like the Dolphins pick.
I think so. I think Bills and Dolphins is the game to put in there. But look, if the Bills lose that game, they're off to an 0-2 start in the division. That would not be good. That wouldn't be a good thing for them. Well, not in the division, but in the conference anyway. In their division. Miami could get to 2-0. Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you this right now. I like Miami at home on that game. I like Miami as a home dog. Miami is one of the most disrespected teams in the league. I had them last week on the road, outright against the Patriots, won. Oh, that's a third game that I outrighted with a dog. I forgot about that one. I said I had 2 outright dogs that won, Iowa and Arkansas. But I had Miami beating New England as a dog.
How'd you do in your fantasy world? How'd you do in the dog league?
Oh, I my fantasy is like an opposite end of the spectrum from my ability to pick games.
I lost by 50 to Shane Sean because I picked
You lost by 50 or 15? 50?
No, 50.
I think I'm right there with you.
I picked Shane Sean's team. I scored 76 points. I did awful.
I'm telling you, I believe that my JVs, I lost 135 to 62. I lost by 70. Has anybody ever lost by 70?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's happened before. I had a buddy actually over the past weekend put up the worst score I've ever seen and actually start a full roster. He put up 57 points.
My opponent's bench beat my starters. My bench beat my starters.
You had already lost what, Saturday? Like you didn't even need the Sunday games. Like you had already lost by Thursday.
You know how they give you their score, their bench's score, your score, and your bench's score?
Yeah.
My score of the team I played was the lowest of the 4.
Well,
both benches beat my starting team, and he beat me like a rented. My Woods going full chub, beat me like a rented mule. Beat the living snot out of me. And I don't even want to say what I got to do. I'm making a quarterback move. I can't get in. Everything's locked still.
Yeah,
why can't we make a move till tomorrow?
It's usually Wednesday morning at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, God, I'm not going to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to make my move.
It's like, pretty sure it's 5. It's like 5:30 is when they.
All right,
open.
Look, nobody
like
makes a move. Who's Braves Bama Titan 3?
That's not me. I'm in the other league. I'm in Undertaker.
That's Rex. All right, so that's Rex. I am. Nobody make a move on the.
Don't say it because they're gonna be listening and they're gonna take it from you.
Can you make the move ahead of time and reserve it?
Yeah, you can. But if you're on the waiver wire, depending on what number you are on the waiver wire, whatever. If let's say you're 10th and he's 5th, he gets if he picks that person. If nobody before him picks that person, he's in order to get it before you do.
So I can pick the dude now.
Yes.
I can go ahead. Oh my God!
Yeah,
Did somebody already do? Oh no! So I can go ahead and pick my dude right now.
And you're gonna give up whoever, but it's gonna be pending, and it's gonna take until tomorrow morning.
All right, I'm picking my dude.
So,
but it says I can.
But if you lost this past weekend, and depending on how many points you lost by, and everything,
I suck. I should get the first pick.
You should get first pick.
I should be able to pick 5 people before anybody else picks anything.
And it does matter how many transactions you made the week before. So when you're making I make the most transactions and still I get second place all the time apparently in my league. And if you make so many transactions, it can actually affect your waiver order number as well.
Well, I made my pick. I picked up Jameis Winston and I dropped Ryan Fitzpatrick. Go ahead and steal him from me. Go ahead, guys in my league. Go ahead and try and steal him from me.
Jameis Winston did good on my bench. I just had Justin Herbert playing.
You bum. Yeah, they were both good. You had 2 good guys. I'm still going to start Aaron Rodgers against Detroit.
I don't know how. I mean, it was one. Yeah, exactly. It's 1 week. I mean, it's kind of like when people say Matt Ryan too. It's like Matt Ryan is a serviceable fantasy quarterback.
Yeah, he is because they're always behind.
Hey, it's fantasy. It doesn't matter about the game.
Right. That's what I'm saying. They're always losing. Let's get a break in here. We'll come back. David Moulton joins us from the SEC at CBS. I need to leave room because David and I are going to go way overtime. We always do, but it's my favorite conversation almost of the week. He's next right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Simple Green is perfect for making your auto, RV, cycling, boating, and other sporting equipment look like new. Visit them at simplegreen.com.
College football coming up Saturday. Alabama taking on Florida in Gainesville. The Crimson Tide favored by 16 points with an over-under of 56.5. Auburn facing Penn State and Indian Lions favored by 6.5 points, over-under 51.5. Monday Night Football tonight. Baltimore taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. Ravens favored by 3.5 points. Baltimore minus 180 on the money line. Las Vegas plus 160 with an over-under of 50.5. Sunday, Atlanta taking on Tampa Bay. Buccaneers favored by 13 with an over-under of 52.5. For VSiN.com, I'm Tony Desiri, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Angie's List is now Angie, and getting your to-do list done just got easier. Between back to school and with the holidays around the corner, it can feel like there's no time to tackle home projects. Whether you need help with emergency repairs or major upgrades, Angie matches you with top local pros who can get the job done right. Browse reviews, see upfront pricing, and instantly book hundreds of projects. Save time for what matters most. Book your next project at Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
Taco Bell presents a get-out-of-bedtime story. It's time to wake up from this amazing dream, even though you're jet skiing on lemonade. How extreme! And oh, look at that, you just won the lottery. Is that a castle? Take the keys, it's your property. What's better than swimming in space? Just wait for the big reveal. It's Taco Bell breakfast and it's actually real. So it's time to wake up and bid your dreams farewell. Because toasted breakfast burritos are waiting for you. Only at Taco Bell. At participating Taco Bell locations near you during breakfast hours only.
You've got to experience Toyotathon. Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, "If you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself."
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
More intense than a Nick Saban press conference.
You sure you want to ask?
Your home of ESPN Radio. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Can't assume anything. I don't even know what you asked me, but I just wanted to say that.
This is Chuck Oliver. Listen to me coming up today at noon. Now, back to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Another Moulton, Steve Moulton, our PD, he sent me the cut sheet off Saban and from yesterday, and I have been so swamped. I honestly have not even. I'm going to play some for you later on in the show, but I only want rants from Saban. I don't, I don't need him to get into, because it's not that it's tired because he has different players, every year, and I get all of that. But we've been listening to it for 14 or 15 years, and of course we got a little bit of rat poison going into this past game. I'll listen to all 11 of these cuts later on during commercial breaks or whatnot, and I'm only going to bring you rants. I'm not going to give you the typical, usual, we have great deal of respect, this will be a good test for us, we're going on a road for the first time, blah, 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 true road game. And I get all of that. I understand that. I only want salty Saban. All right? And the thing is about Saban, we're not getting as much
mud, flood, shit, or blood, man.
We're not getting as much of that anymore out of Saban. We're not getting
whatever happens, we just another player. And everything's going to be perfect.
Yeah, we're not getting that Saban as much anymore. I don't know. He's a kinder, gentler Saban.
And I'm trying to be nice about it too.
Yeah. Damn, you win 6 championships and you go soft.
I'd love to see some of you do a little bit of research and figure it out. It'd really do my heart good.
All right. This segment of the show, by the way, is brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage. Whether you're in Florida, Alabama, or Tennessee, okay, all of those areas, North Alabama Mortgage has the mortgage for you. They will take care of you, whether it's a refi, whether it is new home purchase, whatever it is. You want to do a little home improvement work, they do conventional VA, FHA, USDA. They do loans I don't even know about. They can help you out with it. And they're helping us out with David Moulton today as he joins us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. David, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Tom, while sitting here listening to you, I have come to 2 conclusions.
Yes.
1, your funeral will start 10 minutes late. All right? And 2, it will start with a live read and a hotline sponsor. That's what I've come. Okay. That will be your funeral. Whenever 30 years from now, that will be it. It will start 10 minutes late, and it will start with a live read.
I want a live read and a stinger. I want like an Eli Gold stinger. Now to the Thom Abraham funeral, brought to you by.
Right, exactly.
That's exactly right. I need a little bit of a stinger before the funeral. 30 years, huh? Boy, good. God bless you saying that. 30 years. I'm pretty sure that it's not going to be 30 years.
I'm trying to be optimistic.
So, I made how many picks? I made 5. I don't know, 4 or 5 picks for an article that I write. I did 6 picks here on the air. I lose track of all the picks I make. I know one thing. I was all over the Packers against the Saints. What a stunning development. Not that the Saints, kicked the field goal and win that game at the end. That they just literally. I mean, Arkansas beating Texas is nothing compared to the way the Saints went up and down on the Packers. What in God's name happened there?
Well, it's very simple. The Saints dominated the line of scrimmage. And I do think something that was not talked about enough last week was no Bakhtiari and 2 new interior offensive linemen for the Packers. And the Saints' D-line is pretty good. And not only that, they've got a cover corner for Adams. So they don't have to double-team Devontae like most teams do. So if you looked at it closely, you could see where Green Bay up front was going to struggle offensively. And then if you're going to attack the Packers, hey, you can run right at Green Bay. You've been able to run right at them during this whole Rodgers era. And that's what New Orleans did. They ran right at them in between the tackles. And Green Bay looked as soft as the cheeseheads.
Can they win throwing the ball the way they threw the ball, the Saints, with Jameis Winston, or do you see a scenario where he starts to open up? He didn't turn the ball over. He threw a bunch of touchdown passes. Got great fantasy numbers, but I don't think he threw for 200 yards in the game. Will they continue to open up that offense a little bit for the Saints?
Oh, I think so. Remember, they're playing without Michael Thomas. They got rid of Latavius Murray. I mean, they're going to add 2 wide receivers here in a month. All right, the backups who are getting a lot of playing time at tight end and behind Kamara are only going to get better. Yeah, I thought you saw in the fourth quarter when, Jameis let it rip. There was one telling play, Tom. It was 17-3 New Orleans. Green Bay turns it over in the red zone. Saints drive it down, and it was a 3rd and 9, I think, at the 10-yard line. And Troy Aikman even pointed it out. He said, well, this play is going to show us a lot as to what Sean Payton thinks of Jameis Winston. Because it would have been real easy to run it, throw something safe, kick the field goal, go up 3 scores. And instead, he opened up the offense, ran a play back in the end zone, Jameis terrific pass, touchdown, 24-3. And I thought that play in that moment showed you Peyton's got a lot of confidence in Jameis, and he's going to open this sucker up when he has to.
Were you surprised? It seemed like, I watched it for a little while and just started jumping into other games because it was just not competitive. Did it seem, though, surprising that there was a pretty good Saints fan representation there, I thought?
Well, it was, I'd say, 4-1 Green Bay. However, I was surprised by how many Saints fans were there, just because, obviously, of what all Saints fans from that region had gone through. I mean, it is a straight highway run, as you know, but it's a full day's drive highway run. I mean, it's a good 8-9 hour run, and with it being a late afternoon start, it involves a hotel room, so it was not cheap, and they did not reduce the prices. I can tell you firsthand, they did not reduce the prices at all for that game. People paid full price and $40 to park.
Wow. And I think what it showed, it would have been interesting to know how many of the Saints fans that were there were from, within an hour of New Orleans, or whether or not the Saints fandom, in the last 10, 12 years has grown down I-4 heading east or I-10 heading east, and maybe lower Alabama, lower Georgia, North Florida. Maybe there's creeping more and more Saints fans in that area, and it was a chance for them to see the Saints play, maybe within an hour of their home.
Well, and it was only 150 miles away from Jameis played college ball.
That's
so
a
I
good
have
point.
no idea if some Knowles fans made the drive.
Yeah, that's a good point. First time in 38 years that underdogs were 9-7 straight up. I mean, underdogs all over the league winning games outright. One of those was the one that took place in New England with Tua Tagovailoa getting that win over Mac Jones. That's a good win. The Dolphins I feel like they're the most disrespected team in the league right now. They will host the Buffalo Bills, who lost to the Steelers, and it'll be a 1:00 Eastern game. It's going to be hotter than the hubs of hell there. And, the Dolphins are 3.5-point home dogs. What do you think there?
I do think you've touched upon something in terms of the Dolphins are clearly being, quote-unquote, disrespected. I also think people right now, they just want to bash Tua. I thought it was pretty obvious. Tua was trying to throw the ball away in the fourth quarter, but he kind of stumbled. The defender was up on him a little quickly, and he just couldn't get that ball out of bounds. Was it a bad interception? Yes, but he was not trying to throw it into coverage. He was trying to throw it away and screwed it up, and everybody came down upon him like, well, this is why he's not going to be. Give me a break. Could you relax? You know what he's going to be? He's going to be a left-handed Kurt Warner. All right, he's going to complete 70. He's going to complete 70 to 72% of his passes. All right. Listen, their offensive line's no better than average, and their running backs are no better than average. The weakest part of that team are the 6 players immediately around him. All right, they're only going to get better. Just take a deep breath with Tua. He's not Justin Herbert. There's no doubt about it. Herbert may end up being the best of the 3 that were taken 1, 5, and 6. It doesn't mean he sucks.
It's interesting because it's the same exact thing that's going on with Baker Mayfield. He was 21 of 28, 321 yards. He threw some beautiful passes, led the Browns all throughout a very dominant 3 quarters, and trying to throw the ball away on the last drive. Got tripped up from behind, didn't get enough juice on it. It gets picked off, and everybody from Colin Cowherd on down is like, that's why you don't like Baker Mayfield. I mean, come on. And I wonder whether or not that Lamar Jackson will get the same scrutiny, who he basically gift-wrapped that game with 2 critical fumbles last night. But, man, you listen to the announcers, and you would think he hung the moon. No scrutiny, towards Lamar Jackson that way. But it just seems to be the narrative that's out there. Mayfield is going to make big mistakes at critical times, and Lamar Jackson's the greatest thing we've ever seen.
Well, it's because Lamar's been better his first 3 years than Baker. I mean, he's won a league MVP, and he's taken the Ravens to the playoffs all 3 times. And Baker's only really had 1 year that's been comparable to what Lamar's done for 3. So I get it. To me, the bigger thing going forward with Mayfield is, and Tua, they're both smaller in terms of height quarterbacks. And late in games, teams are usually pretty good, even though both of them made their late mistakes out of the pocket. Teams are usually pretty good about keeping quarterbacks in the pocket. And Russell Wilson and Drew Brees figured it out. As smaller quarterbacks, being able to make those critical throws from the pocket where it gets very congested and over the middle of the field. That is probably the last step for Baker and eventually, hopefully, Tua, is late in the game. They're probably going to be in the pocket, and as smaller 6 feet quarterbacks, will they be able to do what Brees and Russell Wilson were able to do? Listen, Baker's not going anywhere. He might not get as much money from Cleveland as he wants, but he's not going anywhere. And I took it, Tom, as a good sign. The Dolphins did not protect Tua. They did not bubble wrap him. They ran read options. Tua had designed running plays. He's clearly healthy if they're calling plays like that.
David Moulton with us here, talking some football, both NFL, and we move on to the college game. Now, you guys at CBS had the midshipmen and Air Force. I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I watched all the pregame. I watched the middies come out on the field, watched a few minutes of the game. Didn't really watch very much of the game. It was like once the game was on, it was like, why am I watching the Air Force Navy game? And it was just too much other stuff that I was looking at. The pregame stuff literally had me. I had goosebumps. I was choked up watching that stuff pregame. It must have been worth the price of admission just to go there and be able to cover that. And you have done Army Navy games, you know what it's like. But man, this is that was really something.
Well, and what was eerie was that the weather was identical to what the weather was like 20 years ago today. That was actually the eerie thing when you woke up in the morning. And yeah, I mean, it was majestic. It was beautiful. It was a late summer, just almost touch of early fall occasionally when the wind blew. Yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah, football is not very good, but I mean, that's not like the game was not being shown at 3:30 on CBS. Because we thought this was going to compete with Ohio State, Oregon. I mean, we know why the game was on at 3:30 on Saturday on CBS, and quite frankly, I think it should be.
Yeah.
And if they want to play that game every year on September 11th, whichever network has the right to it, and I think CBS has the rights to both Air Force and Navy, I'd put the game on, quite frankly, every September 11th.
If that isn't a Saturday on September 11th, it's over on the CBS Sports Network. I mean, that's that's where that's where you end up seeing that game. All right, so you're in Gainesville. We get Alabama and Florida. This is a great rivalry over the years. Alabama's like it's 16, 17-point favorite. It's kind of grown to something along those lines. Tell me why Anthony Richardson is not the starting quarterback for the Florida Gators, because he's like instant offense. Everything he does when he comes off the bench, and it just seems obvious that guy's got to take that job over at some point.
Well, tell me why Tua stayed second string behind Hurts when everybody who was part of the team in practice was looking around going, the kid's better than the guy who took us to the national championship last year.
But Hurts had played since he was a freshman.
Whoa,
right?
Whoa. Yeah, you asked me.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if you were part of the Alabama program in 2018 at practice, all right, the players were all like, the lefty's better than the righty. I know the righty's an upperclassman. I know he just won us a national title. But, what's going on here? I mean, and it took a while. Thank you very much. So this is, I think, a dilemma all coaches have. You preach family. You preach wait your turn. Pay your dues. This is your time. Emory Jones has sat around for 3 years, Tom. 3 years. In this day and age where kids transfer from morning to afternoon. And if you're Dan Mullen and you preached all you've been preaching for 3 years, and then you bail on Emory Jones after 2 games against bad opponents, I mean, I think it's delicate. It's a lot like Jake Fromm in Georgia with Fields. It really is. It is. Now, you could argue that Kirby should have done it. Nick did do it at the absolute last minute, but he did it. Remember, Dabo pulled the plug pretty quickly in 2018 and went to Trevor when the kid the year before had taken him to the playoff. But about third game into 2018, he said, yeah, we're going with Trevor Lawrence. And it just transferred immediately.
Yeah. I just don't think that Emory Jones has the juice that Jalen Hurts had. I mean, Jalen Hurts had earned some stripes. Emory Jones has done nothing. Like you say, he's been a backup. He could not beat out Kyle Trask, who came there as the second quarterback recruited with Felipe Franks in the same class. So, and this is a guy that you would think that Emory Jones would have been able to beat out. It's just so stark. Do you think? And if you're and now you're looking at you got to win this game. Can you win it with Emory Jones?
No, you can't. And then this is why Richardson's going to be the quarterback probably by October. He's just better. I mean, he's clearly better. He looks like he is a special player. I mean, I'll tell you what, you give a guy number 15 at Florida, he better be special.
Well, it's not just at Florida. Think about Dan Mullen. What did he do when he got to State? He gave Dak Prescott 15, too. So that's his number. When he says 15, that's Tebow at Florida when Mullen was the OC, and it's Dak Prescott at State when he was the head coach there, and now he gave this kid 15. So, yeah, I think the writing is on the wall. Do you expect to see them both?
I do think Florida – well, listen, if Richardson's healthy, I think he'll play a decent amount.
Yeah.
When you tug a hamstring, that's a very dangerous injury. Like, he's going to be at practice today, but he ain't practicing. He's just getting treatment. So, listen, Dan Mullen's a gifted play caller. There are 2 gifted play callers in the SEC, Lane and Dan. And Lane and Dan both gave Nick a lot of trouble last year.
Yep.
Those were the 2 that hung 40 on him. It's Florida's best shot, quite frankly. Dan Mullen can out-coach anybody for 3 hours. He can. He's not going to build you a better program, okay? But when Dan gets it going, it's a lot like when Gus found it in a game. It was tough to get Gus and Auburn off track. Once they got it going, it was like, uh-oh, we're on our heels the rest of the day. And Dan's that way. I think it's going to be a lot of power running, a lot of different formations, trying to set up some big pass plays. I think Florida's hoping, quite frankly, it's just like the Ole Miss game was for Alabama last year, where Lane was just a step ahead.
Yeah. David Moulton with us
there. That's what Dan has to do.
All right, before I let you go, I want to get your take on our poll question today. Joel Klatt says that the USC job is third only behind the Alabama job at 2 and the Texas job at 1 as the best jobs in the country. Ohio State and Georgia are also on that list. So my poll question today is that my listeners are answering fervently is if Nick Saban had gone to any of those other programs, if he had 15 years ago, Nick Saban goes to Texas, he goes to USC, he goes to Ohio State, he goes to Georgia, does he win 6 national championships? In other words, is it a Saban thing or is it a Saban/Bama thing that Nick Saban has won all of these championships? Could he have done the same thing at any of those other programs? What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
more Saban than Bama. You're right.
Well, I mean, it's partly Bama. I mean, they had a dynasty with a legendary coach once before, so it's not all Nick, just like USC and Ohio State have had dynasties before with other coaches. So it shows you those, to me, are the very special places. Texas has only really had like 2 moments in time. Georgia, meanwhile, has had one moment in time, and it was because they had a special tailback.
So you're with 73.5% of our listeners who are saying it's a Saban thing, not a Bama thing. The other 26.5% saying that it's more of a Bama thing than that. Would you agree that Texas is the best job in the country?
No, I think it's Ohio State.
Ohio State's the best job in the country. Yeah, well,
I do.
I can see I can see that as well. Next week we can talk about some of the real contenders for USC, not the pie in the sky contenders that people just throw out there for that deal. David Moulton has been our guest. David, enjoy Gainesville. Enjoy the nation's capital. Before that, you'll be Thursday night with the crew down there at the Washington football team and the New York Giants, your beloved Giants. And hopefully, for your sake, I hope you enjoy that game.
Well, nothing gets the blood boiling quite like Gaynell Jones against Taylor Heineke. I'll tell you that.
Yes, I mean that is a stop the presses moment when you get Heineke and Daniel Jones together. It's time for Daniel Jones to do something dramatic. He needs to start picking it up a little bit. All right,
how about pretty good? I think Giants fans would take how about pretty good.
Just be pretty good. Just be pretty good. All right, I appreciate you as always. Great stuff.
All right, do a live read.
I will do the live read. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
That was David Moulton on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Let's get a break. We will come back and wrap up hour number 1 right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Chad, cue the cheesy Italian music. So you're in charge of the dinner spot, and the family is a hard group to please. Dad wants award-winning 21-day age certified Angus beef. Mom craves authentic Italian food like great grandma. Sissy pretty much won't eat anything but fresh seafood. And old life of the party, Uncle Walter, likes to enjoy a cigar after dinner with some live local entertainment and some killer cocktails. So you think you're in a pickle? Well, you're not. Relax. I'm Tom Chapman, chef at Nick's Ristorante at 10300 Bailey Cove Road, just south of Weatherly. We have all that and more. Our friendly and helpful staff is eager to help you Tuesday through Saturday, starting at 5. So, corral that crazy crew of yours and give us a call at 256-489-8280 or tell them to check us out at nicksristorante.com. I promise you, the gang will all think you're a culinary cruise director of awesomeness if you take them all to Nick's. See you soon. Ciao. Okay, Chad, kill that music.
Nick's is for patrons 19 or older.
Guys, when we were 20, we never had to worry about spontaneity. And now that we've gotten older, spontaneity has been replaced with pills and injections. We're just trying to keep that intimacy, but it's taken away from spontaneity. At Advanced Life Clinic, we now offer GainsWave, which uses sound waves to non-invasively treat this issue with no need for pills or injections. Just give us a call, 256-888-9367, or check us out online, advancedlifeclinic.com.
Thom Abraham here for my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Welcome back to Thom Abraham Show. Did they call me the breeze? They should call me the breeze. Got breezing in and out of this segment. Hang on, I'm finishing a text. Come on, Grizz. You can see me here on the camera. I'm over here. I'm texting over here. I'm trying to be one of these
trying to do stuff too.
I know. I'm trying to be one of these multitasking guys. I'm not very good at the whole multitasking thing. I did not see. I got to be totally honest with you. I completely forgot about the Peyton Manning, Eli Manning.
Oh, it was great.
Was it?
It was great. I mean, I think some segments were good. I thought some segments kind of got boring after a little bit, so I went back to the original one.
I heard there was some contrived stuff. It was kind of like hokey.
Yeah, it was.
Hokey stuff.
There was a couple of jokes that I didn't really. It wasn't really like in my range of jokes. I didn't really like too much, but other than just a few things, like the very beginning was great. He goes, "We can see a season by the first play. Basically, we know a season or whatever." It was an incomplete pass by the Raiders, and he goes 6-11. So Peyton Manning just goes 6-11. So it was absolutely great. I mean, you have to watch. Just go to YouTube. You can watch the recap.
Did they have a play-by-play guy at all? Were they hearing the play-by-play guy?
No, it was just the feed.
Just
it was
the two of them.
Yeah, it was them and then
it was like
Travis Kelce,
Science Theater.
Yeah, well, kind of, but they were on the side.
They had different guys join them, and
Travis Kelce, Charles Barkley, a few other guys.
Yeah, I want to see him in the booth. I want him in the booth. I don't know who the play-by-play guy is. Put those two guys in the booth and actually do a regular game. We'll be back. Justin Ferguson is next, talking Auburn on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Maybe the air doesn't blow like it should, or it's needing new tires, or you're just ready for something newer. It's time to move up, time to trade up. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and it's the perfect time to trade in and trade up because your current car or truck is worth more than you know. In fact, we'll buy your vehicle even if you don't trade. We have nearly 100 Ford Blue Advantage certified pre-owned models to choose from. Our Ford Gold certified or low mileage, gently used vehicles with great warranties. They've passed a 172-point inspection by certified technicians, come with a 24-hour roadside assistance, plus a full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. It's the perfect time to trade in and trade up because your vehicle is worth more right now at Woody Anderson Ford. Corner of Jordan Lane and Sparkman Drive. Hope to see you soon.
At Bryant Bank, we recognize your time is valuable, and easy, secure access to your finances is essential. That's why we provide the financial tools you need to manage your money on the go and make life a bit easier. At Bryant Bank, we're here to help with instant debit cards, Apple Pay, person-to-person payments, and more. Bryant bankers want to show you how beneficial our digital banking services can be. Learn more at bryantbank.com. Bryant Bank. Live legendary. Member FDIC.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Right now, Cowboys will have a new right tackle for Sunday's game against the Chargers. During today's appearance on 103.5 The Fan, team owner Jerry Jones said Terrence Steele will take Lyle Collins' spot in the lineup. Jones acknowledged Collins is still fighting the 5-game suspension he received for violating the NFL's substance abuse policy. Steele does have experience in his new role, having started 14 games with Collins and left tackle Tyron Smith out of action last season. Major League Baseball is expanding the list of players who can wear number 21 to honor Roberto Clemente tomorrow. According to ESPN's Marley Rivera, among those the honor's been extended to, all uniformed personnel of Puerto Rican descent, all 2021 Roberto Clemente Award nominees, and the 6 active players who are Clemente Award recipients. September 15th will be announced as the official date to commemorate Roberto Clemente Day each year.
So sticky.
At Hannah's Organic Honey, business may be sweet, but they need an e-commerce queen bee to lead the hive.
Okay, these jars are going to Jakarta. Oh, wait a minute. Does that say Jackson?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Schedule virtual interviews and talk to candidates right from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Earn cash back every time you shop. Now through September 24th, during Lowe's Just for Pros event, you can earn up to $150 in statement credits when you're approved for a Lowe's Business Rewards card from American Express and join the Lowe's for Pros loyalty program. This exclusive offer is only for new eligible Lowe's Business Rewards card members, so apply today at lowes.com/business credit. Lowe's, the new home for pros. More terms apply. U.S. only.
Another year of Coach Saban in Tuscaloosa. You know what that means.
I've been a part of a team since I was 9 years old. It scares me to ever think of the day when I wouldn't be a part of a team.
Your home of the Crimson Tide Sports Network and the Nick Saban Show is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. Guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live. Here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 on a Top 10 Tuesday in the Doghouse. Multiple lists to get to today, including our fresh off the presses SEC Top 10. We'll get to that in a little bit as well. And then also, how about 10 names for the USC job? And if any of these make much sense, we can get into that a little bit as well. So we'll give you some commentary on all of that, and we'll welcome your phone calls. But right now, an opportunity to talk about Auburn as they now get their first real test of the season. It's a whiteout at Happy Valley. Auburn will be in white, so they'll take this offense on the road that averages 10 yards a carry. I don't know if they can do that in the Big Ten. But Justin Ferguson joins us from the Auburn Observer, a great place to go and get all the Auburn information you could possibly stand, and he's on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Ferg, welcome back to the show. How are you?
I'm doing well, Tom. How are you?
I am fantastic. 9.6 yards a carry, huh? I mean, that doesn't suck against air. That doesn't suck. But, man, it's just a different kind of deal when you're taking on a team that shut down Wisconsin's running game. Wisconsin with a great running game. Talk to me a little bit about, what Auburn faces when they take on that Penn State interior defense.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough challenge for Auburn's offensive line and the running game. They feel really good about their backs, obviously. Tank Bigsby, back-to-back 100-yard games to start the season. Same for Jarquez Hunter, freshman out of Mississippi. With Sean Shivers not available last weekend against Alabama State, Hunter got even more carries than after his big second half against Akron. He only had the longest run in Auburn history, and also had several more good explosive runs. So they feel really strong about that running back room, because when you put Hunter in that mix, when you already know what you have in Bigsby and Shivers, it's a group that can rotate and make sure that the other side doesn't get a moment's rest when it comes about having dangerous players out of the backfield. The issue is going to be the offensive line, and this is a matchup away from home in a wideout. And it's a tough environment. Now, Auburn and their offense, they've been in tough environments. These offensive linemen have played in environments like this before. Bo Nix has played in environments like this before. It might have been a while since it's been this full capacity, but they've been in challenging spots. And I think the big thing for Auburn is just going to be communication. That Penn State defensive front is mean. They are tough. They lock down in the red zone especially. And when you look at Auburn, a lot of good things from these first couple of games of the season, but in the first half against Alabama State, offensive line didn't really get create a ton of big plays on the ground for that running game. And you had some missed assignments, and you had guys not blocking the right dudes, and they tightened it up in the second half and, executed pretty excellently and blew them out in that third quarter. But you can't have those mistakes away from home, and so communication, especially in that environment, is going to be key. And it's going to be a real war in the trenches, I think, because whoever can get the edge in that matchup is probably going to have a good shot of winning this game. And so there's a lot riding on what Auburn can do on the offensive line on Saturday.
What about Brian Harsin? Two aspects of Brian Harsin. One, is it possible that he has held some things back in these two cupcake games where, really there is, some creative play calling that is left out there for him to do? And two, in his situation, has he ever faced anything like this as the head coach? At Boise State, where you're going into a whiteout scenario, Penn State, 90,000 fans going absolutely crazy, and they got their own, communication issues and so on and so forth as a head coach.
Yeah, I mean, to your second question, obviously the road games in the Mountain West aren't what they are going to a place like Penn State, but there have been some teams in the past where they've faced in some hostile environments. I think the big ones a few years ago, Boise State opened the season with a big comeback win at Florida State. And that's probably the closest comparison to that, a really loud and rowdy Doak Campbell Stadium. But, yeah, it is going to be a new kind of territory there for, Brian Harsin and this staff to be in an environment like this. But it is a good warm-up one to have for sure, because you get LSU in a few weeks. You're going to play. You're going to go to places like A&M. Arkansas looked great on Saturday night with their environment. So something you definitely have to get used to. As for the play calling question, Auburn hasn't been like super creative, I think, with their calls on and what they've done in these first couple of weeks, because a lot of their base stuff could really, really work if you just execute it well against a team that is physically overmatched against you. We've seen some tweaks. I think some of the the biggest things where this offense has looked very different from what we're used to in Auburn is they're using a lot of different formations and a lot of different personnel packages. So by design, that is going to look a lot different and look a lot more kind of expansive than what we've seen from Auburn in the past. But the stuff that they're running out of it has been pretty vanilla, and it's worked as it should against teams like this. So, yeah, I think this is going to be the game where, they've shown we can throw it deep, we can throw it short, we can spread it around on some of those pro throws, we can run it in a variety of ways. So now it's just, okay, let's look at what Penn State's doing. Let's look at what some of their weaknesses might be, what some of their strengths might be, and then individually game plan and tweak and tailor to that. Because I think in the first couple of games, they've just been able to roll it out there and say, hey, let's see what we can do with the standard stuff. And then now I think now is the time where you get creative and you get a little bit more specific to who you're playing against because of their talent.
I was really impressed with Bo Nix in week one. I know it was Akron there, but, I had said, look, if you told me that Bo Nix could go 20 of 22 in 7-on-7, I'd have told you you're nuts. It seemed like he'd, airmail guys or throw it into the ground or do some things like that, and he was able to do that in a live, even if you want to call it a scrimmage type situation. Not as much in week two, But when you look at Bo Nix in this system where he seems to be more comfortable and it seems to suit him more, are you seeing significant differences? Just watching him in a couple of games like this, are you seeing differences than what you saw when he was being coached by Gus Malzahn and his rotating staff?
Yeah, I think in Bo's case, he looks a lot more comfortable in this offense because he knows where to go with the ball. He's making a lot quicker decisions. He's not holding on to it quite as much. There were a couple times against Alabama State where the pressure got to him a little bit after somebody missed something up front, and he kind of reverted to a couple of his old habits. But I mean, those were just a couple of plays. His completion percentage wasn't great in the Alabama State game, but that was also 4 drops were involved in that in the first half for Auburn, including 2 that would have been touchdowns if they'd have been completed. So I think the stat line was a little unkind to just how much Bo's kind of stepped up. Now, he's going to have to step it up against competition like this. I think his ball placement can be better, as any quarterback will say. The ball placement can be better moving forward. But yeah, I see a quarterback who looks a lot more confident and sure of himself where to go with the ball, depending on what happens on a certain play. And he still has some opportunities to use his legs and be a difference maker with that. So it's going to be interesting. I think Auburn can give him protection against Penn State's defensive front. He can get him solid protection. He's going to know where to go with the football, and he's not going to put Auburn in a lot of danger. I don't think that's that's been the thing they've harped on him really since spring practices, taking care of the football and making smart decisions. I think you've seen progress in that area. But if things break down up front and he's being chased around all game, we'll see what happens there, because we know under pressure away from home has been some tough spots for him so far in his career. So Saturday is going to be an opportunity for him to really show how much he's grown in this new scheme.
All right, let's flip it around then. Justin Ferguson with us from the Auburn Observer, talking about Auburn's game coming up. And by the way, primetime, ABC, whole nation watching. This is obviously going to be a game that's going to get a ton of attention. So you flip this thing around. Penn State's offense, I watched the Wisconsin game. I didn't watch the Ball State game, but I watched every minute of the Wisconsin game. Their offense has their own issues. Yep. Sean Clifford, he was very efficient against Ball State, but it was 21 of 29 for only 230 yards. A lot of underneath stuff, a lot of dump-off type stuff. They're going to try and play hard-nosed football. Maybe the key is that can Auburn's defense keep Auburn in this game? They have not been pushed by these two offenses that they have played in their first 2 games, but are you seeing anything defensively out of Auburn against what is not a dynamic Penn State offense that can keep them in this game into the fourth quarter?
Yeah, I think the big thing for Auburn's defense is they got to keep doing what they've done the first couple of games, which is prevent the big play through the air. Jahan Dotson was kind of their only offense against Wisconsin. Those couple of deep throws they had, and of course the one touchdown where Wisconsin blew its coverage and let him run free for a touchdown in the third quarter. Dotson's a dangerous guy. He's a very experienced receiver. Got a lot of speed of him. They also have Parker Washington underneath, slot receiver, who is pretty tough after the catch. Those are 2 guys that Brian Harsin mentioned first when breaking down their offense. On Monday when we talked to him, Clifford I think has a lot of similarities to Bo Nix, where there's opportunities for him to look really, really good. And he's also had some games where pressure has gotten to him and he struggled. He had a lower rate of completion percentage and a higher turnover rate against pressure last season than even Nix did. And so when you look at that, you look at Auburn's secondary and say, okay, if they continue to prevent the big play and try to make an offense that's not quite hit their stride yet, try to nickel and dime them and run the ball. Auburn's defensive front has been really strong. If you're going to run the ball right at Auburn, you're playing right into the strength of their defense with Jacoby McClain and Owen Papo playing really well to start the season. And then it just, I'm interested in the edge rushers and the pass rush for Auburn. Penn State last season, not a good pass protecting team. So far this season, haven't had great pass protection numbers either. Auburn seems to be getting after the quarterback a lot more regularly than they did last season. I know it's Akron and Alabama State. Can they do that against some guys who were blue chips once upon a time? but like Auburn, have had some pass protection issues that people have criticized them for. So I think these two teams are very, very similar. And so when you flip it around to the defense side, I like Auburn's talent more on defense, and I think that will help them out away from home because Auburn's own offense is going to be going up against a tough defense in a tough environment. But, yeah, it's going to be kind of what we've seen. This is going to be the first opportunity to see, all right, the Derek Mason style of defense, prevent the big play, get creative to get after the quarterback. Those are two foundational tenets of this defense. We've seen those work in the first couple of games against overmatched competition. Now it's the first time to say, okay, can you do that when the guys on the other side are pretty good recruiters? So I think that's going to be a really, really big key to this game.
Yeah, this game opened at 56.5 points for the total, and it's down to around 53.5. It still feels like an under. You know what I mean? It still feels like a slobber knocker. There's the Vanderbilt hook to this is kind of fascinating as well. With James Franklin, the guy who had great success at Vanderbilt, relatively speaking, going up against the guy who followed him, Derek Mason, who had no success at Vanderbilt, basically, but it was a great defensive coordinator at Stanford. So there's that hook to it as well. But it just feels like either way, it feels like a 17-13 or 21-17. It just feels like that kind of a game.
It does. I think Penn State and Auburn are very similar teams. They have, like I said earlier, they have offensive lines that have had their issues against good opponents. They've got defenses that are tough, especially in the red zone. They've got skill position players that they really, really like with upside for the future. And they both have quarterbacks that have had their high and low moments in their careers. So when you have two very similar teams like this come together, they kind of cancel each other out, you would think. So what's going to come down to is who makes the fewest mistakes and who is able to kind of create the few big plays that could swing this game. And so I think it could go either way. I think Penn State's getting about a touchdown favorite right now, and I think it makes sense because they're at home. They get a few points off of that. And there was more belief in Penn State heading into the season with a returning staff than compared to Auburn, who was starting over. But yeah, I think if Auburn plays a clean brand of football on both sides of the ball and finds a way to kind of scheme up some ways to get deep or create some big plays, whether it's Tank Bigsby or even Jarquez Hunter popping a big run, or Bo Nix finding one of his receivers deep downfield, Auburn has a chance to come out of there with a big win.
Yeah, and the way this schedule sets up, regardless of what happens here, then it's Georgia State next week, so they get a chance to kind of, get back right. If it doesn't go the way they want it to go at Penn State. LSU feels gettable at LSU. They have not been impressive. I feel like they're gettable. Georgia, that's a rivalry game, so you never know what's going to happen there. You mentioned Arkansas, though. That's the biggest surprise to me in the league. I've liked Sam Pittman. I like the way the football team looked last year, and then it all came together with the way they pounded Texas. Now these two teams have very, very similar schedules. They're both brutal. They both get Georgia out of the East, and their crossovers. I think Arkansas gets Missouri at home, and Auburn goes to South Carolina. You could kind of point to that Auburn at Arkansas game that both teams are going to feel like that's a game that they should be favored in. I wouldn't be surprised if Arkansas keeps playing well that they're a small favorite maybe in that game, or it's even a pick-em game. But that feels like that's the game of the year that, can kind of twist the season for both of these teams. The 7th or 8th win, if you will.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I think whoever wins that game, and depending on how they do against the likes of Ole Miss and even A&M this season, I think you look at that team like, all right, who is going to be the surprise team out of the SEC West this season? Who's going to do a lot better than expected? And that's going to be a good hinge game. And yeah, Arkansas played extremely well. I mean, they bullied Texas in that game, and I think that's going to be one where Auburn is going to have to show that they are as tough and as strong and as physical as they want to be under Brian Harsin in that matchup. But yeah, I really, really like the intrigue developing in the West right now. I think A&M's got some issues that they need to sort out, but LSU's looking gettable. I mean, Auburn hasn't won in Baton Rouge since 1999, and in a couple of weeks they're going to head to Baton Rouge and they're going to try to knock off that streak. And what a big one that would be for the first year of Brian Harsin. But a lot of things can kind of switch in this first half of the season. And yeah, I think that the Arkansas game, is going to be a real hinge point for both of the programs this season.
There has been a ton written about the Gus Malzahn era at Auburn. I contend that his inability to beat Ed Orgeron ends up being the thing that gets him clipped. Is because Ed Orgeron has never been thought of as some outstanding coach. Of course, he had a great team in 2019, but Gus couldn't beat Ed. He could beat Nick, couldn't beat Ed. It seems like in the end that's the way that'll be written. Now, of course, Gus goes right back to the Power 5 though with the Big 12. How ironic is that he'll take UCF to the Power 5 in a couple of years? I'm sure he'll still be there when they get to the Big 12.
Yeah, I mean, something that you kind of could see coming was the talk of expansion. Playoff expansion, whenever that comes, was already going to be in favor of teams like UCF. So that's what made the Gus move there a pretty smart one. But now going to the Big 12 is going to be really fun to watch. Just that he is in a power conference again, and I think that's where he belongs. I mean, no disrespect to the AAC because it is a pretty good conference for football, but to see Gus Malzahn be back in a spot where you're playing more games, against some more traditionally strong programs in college football, I think will be a lot better it fits him a lot better than just kind of sticking around in the group of 5.
Justin Ferguson has been our guest. Ferg, I appreciate you so much. Keep doing a great job you're doing with the Auburn Observer. Tremendous source of information for Auburn.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, Tom.
All right, thank you. Justin Ferguson. All right, we've got all of this on the table now. We haven't even discussed the fact that the USC job is open. We have talked about that incredible game last night in the NFL. If you watch that, I'd like your reaction to that as well. And if you saw the Manning thing, Tim Brando made the comment on Twitter, boy, I'd love to see him or these two guys bring that act to the booth. I think it would have to be more football-oriented, less bits and goofy stuff, but I think it would be, and I think you would get more anecdotal type stuff. I would love to see Manning and Manning in the booth together. I don't know what kind of money it would cost. They're doing like 10 of these things, these side saddle, games on Monday Night Football. They're going to do about 10 of them, ESPN2. I completely forgot about it. But if, in fact, they were to go to the booth, who's the play-by-play guy? You know what I mean? I mean, Steve Levy have the juice to do this. I'm not a fan of the group right now that is in the booth. So, throw that one out there as well. Who would be the play-by-play guy with
Pat
Manning?
McAfee.
Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee couldn't do play-by-play if his life depended on it. Would it bring the juice back to Monday Night Football if you put those two dudes in the booth? But who would have to be their play-by-play guy? You want to react to that? You can do it. We are open lines the rest of the way. 256-576-4977. We've got 2 top 10s to give you here as well on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family-owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
Southern Fidelity Mortgage. Think of them as a loan for everyone, offering more products than anyone else and the guaranteed lowest rates and costs in town. Of the 2,000 loans that Southern Fidelity Mortgage has pre-approved over the last 10 years, all but one have closed. That's unprecedented in the banking business. For FHA, VA, rural development, and conventional mortgages, for the best mortgage experience in town, it's Southern Fidelity Mortgage.
Call Southern Fidelity Mortgage Company at 256-656-5936.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Isn't the story of the prodigal son an amazing story? Basically, a rowdy boy who literally wished his father dead, ran away, and consumed his wealth with hard and fast living. Yet the father looked for his return every day, and when the boy got tired of eating pig slop, he decided to return. What did the father do? As soon as he saw that boy, he ran to him, threw his arms around him, and killed the fatted calf for a great celebration. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of the Cross Point Church. If you're looking for a church home, come see us, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
Hey, this is Justin with the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. We'd like to invite you to North Alabama's premier patio bar and grill, where at the factory, we have something going on each and every night. Monday night, steak night. Tuesday night, karaoke. Wednesday night, the Jeep community comes out for Jeep Jam. Thursday, it's bike night, the biggest in the valley. Friday and Saturday, live concerts on our 4,000-square-foot patio, along with drink specials and a beautiful staff. What are you waiting on? We will see you at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill.
This is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, more of the Thom Abraham Show on your home for Crimson Tide Sports 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Roll Tide.
Welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. This segment brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford. Your vehicle does not have to be a Ford to get service at Woody Anderson Ford. When you get down there and you see the service lanes and the service department, you're going to say, my gosh, this is the place, the only place to take my vehicle for service. It's Woody Anderson Ford. Make your appointment today. Phone lines are open, 256-576-4977, 256-576-4977. The more I think about the Alabama-Florida game, I'm just telling you, there is no way that Emory Jones can beat Alabama. I still see it happening. Now, Alabama's Achilles heel has been mobile quarterbacks over the years. In almost all of the losses, they've had, 15 losses since 2009? Let that sink in. 15 losses since 2009. Almost every case, 2 things are prevalent. One, quarterback didn't turn the ball over. The 15 quarterbacks who beat Alabama since 2009 have thrown a total of 3 interceptions against Alabama in those 15 games. But when you look at those guys, Steven Garcia, not so much mobile. Had a big wide receiver that Alabama couldn't stop. Jordan Jefferson, mobile. Cam Newton, my God. Jordan Jefferson, again. Johnny Manziel, miracle play on a bobbled snap. Semi-mobile. Nick Marshall, mobile. Trevor Knight, mobile. Bo Wallace was not mobile. Cardell Jones was not mobile, but he had a very mobile Ezekiel Elliott. Chad Kelly. I don't know what the hell happened there. Chad Kelly beat him in 2015. What's up with that? Deshaun Watson, mobile. Jared Stidham got him in 2017. Trevor Lawrence, of course. Great team. Joe Burrow, what a great team. And Bo Nix, along with some help from Mac Jones, who threw 2 pick sixes in the game. Okay? So, there is that as well. But there's just no way Emory Jones can beat them. This Anthony Richardson kid is scary, though. And now he did hurt a hammy. And so you don't know how healthy he is. But does Dan Mullen have the stones to pull the Nick Saban move like when he, sat Jalen Hurts at halftime in a national championship game? Does he have the stones to make that kind of a move early in this game if Emory Jones is not getting it done? If Emory Jones was all of that, he'd have beaten out Kyle Trask. And look, Trask was fine. He was a very good quarterback. But if Emory Jones is more of the kind of quarterback that Dan Mullen has had success with over the years in terms of his mobility and things like that, I just rip the Band-Aid off and go with Anthony Richardson. Richardson is scary. That becomes a different kind of deal. Whether or not they'll make that move, I don't know. But that's the thing you're looking at in that game. All right. The USC job is open. Who wants the USC job? Who does it make sense to have the USC job? I have got in front of me Pete Thamel's list.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's the Tuesday Top 10.
All right, Grizz, some interesting notes on this list. Some interesting names, I should say.
Let's do it.
On this list. Let's take a look at some of them. First of all, a couple of retreads. Chris Peterson. How about Chris Peterson, the Boise State / Washington coach that is now working for Fox? Could Chris Peterson be a guy that could be lured to USC? He was not interested in a job pretty much after the 2013 season when Pete Carroll left, and he ended up with Washington. But yeah, Chris Peterson.
I don't know. I don't think he can change the culture there. I don't think that's a guy that everybody's going to be rushing towards, even with a high profile job like that.
Big game Bob. Bob Stoops, 61 years old now. Does he want to jerk around with this?
Yeah, I think he's making more money as an analyst.
Oh no, he would make way more.
He would make a lot of money, obviously, as a coach.
Job.
But I bet he doesn't. I bet he likes the non-stress and it's kind of like Urban Meyer. Like we're gonna see Urban Meyer be an analyst in like 2 years, maybe next year.
Tony Elliott is the offensive coordinator at Clemson. He's from Southern California. He's always wanted to go back there. He doesn't have any real juice as a head coach, obviously. But he is a highly sought-after offensive coordinator. I don't think they go like that, though. I think they got to have a name. Don't you think they can't? That's like a Clay Helton hire, Tony Elliott. I don't like Tony Elliott there. Greg, how about this name? Greg Schiano. Now, remember, Schiano, it would cost $4 million to buy out Schiano's Rutgers deal. That should not be a problem, I wouldn't think, for USC if they wanted him. But here he is at Rutgers starting to do some things again, like he put Rutgers on the map before. He had that issue, obviously, at Ohio State. It flipped out people at Tennessee. Tennessee would love to have I think Tennessee fan now would probably like to revisit that. What about Greg Schiano?
I mean, he's a good coach. I think he's a good coach. I don't know. He just hasn't had I know he hasn't had great success in the NFL. Obviously, not a lot of coaches can. Nick Saban didn't have a lot of great success at all, really much in the NFL.
Yeah, I wouldn't hold that against him at all.
Yeah. I like it. I think I like it. But is he the flashy hire? You know what I mean? It's USC. That's what I'm saying. Like with the last option, it's like, do you really want to go with a new head coach, like first time head coach at the University of USC? Like you need a guy like Saban or, for instance, Pete Carroll that can take over. That program.
But Pete Carroll wasn't a guy. It wasn't Pete Carroll when they hired Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll was a failed NFL coach who hadn't done anything.
Saban was a failed NFL coach that.
Yeah, but he had a national championship already, right? I mean, Nick Saban was a national championship coach when he left college to go to the NFL, and left the NFL. And there were a number of reasons. Obviously, if they get Drew Brees, maybe everything is different there. But having said all of that, Nick Saban had more chops than Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll was not a sexy hire in any way, shape, or form. Pete Carroll was a guy that had lost with the Jets, had lost with the Patriots, and was not a big, sexy hire, and he went there and had great success. What about, and I don't think this one works because I think he's just too much of a Midwest guy, but what about P.J. Fleck? I mean, $4.5 million buyout. Does P.J. Fleck want to leave the Big Ten? Now, P.J. Fleck has always wanted to be the head coach at Ohio State, but Ryan Day seems to be entrenched there. But is P.J. Fleck a guy that's in the mix?
I like him. I think he's flashy. I think he's a great players coach, and I think it's a guy that really could like energize that program. And with him and the way that he coaches, I think that with all the resources that you do have at the University of Southern California, that it's actually really. I mean, I think it might be a good option.
What about now? This is a $9 million buyout. Of course, they just dropped $10 million to get rid of Helton, but we saw Auburn blow $20 million to get rid of Gus. What about Mario Cristobal up at Oregon, who's starting to feel more and more like I'd like to see this guy? Did you see the classy thing he did at the end of the Ohio State game?
No, I really didn't. I mean, I watched a good bit of it. I just didn't watch the end.
His team was coming off after the game. They were coming off the field, and he was being approached by an interviewer to do an interview, and he was walking towards the logo, the Ohio State logo, and he stopped, and he took his path away from it. They wanted to interview him, and he tells the interviewer, he's telling his team as they're coming off, and he tells the interviewer, not on the logo, not at the 50-yard line, and not on their logo. We respect our opponent. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
That was a really, really classy thing to do. He would not even do the post-game interview at the 50-yard line on the Ohio State logo and forbid his team from even going across the logo. He wasn't putting up with any of it. Now, a couple of students, I don't know who they were, a couple of kids put a rubber duck right at the 50-yard line in the middle of the Ohio State O, and that's kind of funny. But Mario Cristobal, do you leave Oregon to go be the head coach at USC? Because does he have as much opportunity to win at Oregon?
Yeah.
Does he do as he would have at USC? And if you're USC, you get 2 for 1. You take a guy away from Oregon.
Yeah.
It's pretty good, and you get the guy, Mario Cristobal. Or is his next job in Tuscaloosa?
I thought that was Dabo.
No.
Are we slowly fading away from people thinking Dabo's going to Bama?
I think we're past.
Is that finally like going away? Because thank God, that's embarrassing.
I think Dabo's a really good guy.
He's a good guy, but
I think we're past the Dabo.
He's a cornball.
He's a cornball. Yeah. I think we're past.
He's definitely odd. But
here's a guy that it's his job to pass up. A lot of people think.
Yeah.
Luke Fickell at Cincinnati. People are saying he's 33-6 over the last 4 years. I took over a 4-8 team. Now they're going to the Big 12. The AD is his old boss. The AD at USC came from Cincinnati. He's the guy that hired Luke Fickell at Cincinnati. He's never been outside of Ohio for any period of time other than to go do a game. He's got no buyout for all intents and purposes, $3.5 million. Luke Fickell, they say that it's his job to pass up. What about Luke Fickell?
I don't know. I think it's kind of like on the same.
Not a big enough name for you?
I don't know if it's necessarily a big enough name. I guess it's kind of like the PJ Fleck deal where it's kind of like you've made kind of these smaller teams a lot better. And by going to a big program like that, I just don't want it to be overwhelming for like a guy that like you really think could be a real good players coach, a real good guy to come in and like revitalize the culture. But could it be too much of I think going to USC a lot of times is that's a lot of, I mean, even being USC, it's a lot of pressure.
Oh, it takes a certain kind of dude.
But I also think that like if you go look at like teams like Nebraska and teams that have been good over the years or whatever, like a high candidate coach going to like one of these programs that necessarily aren't the best teams anymore, like is it really even worth going and leaving the job that you have before?
Well, if it's one of the top, if it is truly
if it is truly
the number 3 job in the country behind Texas and Alabama, but it's also L.A. See, there's a lot of Midwestern guys that are being mentioned here, a lot of Big Ten type guys that are being mentioned here. Another name that's popped is Matt Campbell at Iowa State. Another guy that's 100% Midwestern guy. He's turned Iowa State into a contender, although they, got their mud hole stomped in them by Iowa on Saturday. Bill O'Brien. Here's a guy who was an NFL coach, took the team to the playoffs like 5 years in a row before it kind of fell apart there. He is, I think, Bill O'Brien. It could be 1 year as the Alabama offensive coordinator. He was the head coach at Penn State, inherited a mess there, and got them pointed in the right direction. He's a pro name. I think Bill O'Brien has to be really high on the list, especially if Alabama goes deep this year.
Yeah, whatever he does at Alabama, I think really whatever he does at Alabama will say, what can he do for this team as well? Because, I mean, look at Steve Sarkisian. It's like we talk about it. It's like a coaching rehab, university with Nick Saban. It just seems like if you can get him in the right frame of mind, which I feel like you can, I feel like that he would have done okay if he had not tried to take over, for the Houstons.
He shouldn't have been the GM. Because that's what killed him when he became the GM.
And I think that's where like everybody just like lost a lot of respect for him too by doing that. And then making all these types of moves, and I think that got him overwhelmed. So I think him kind of like sitting back, that might be the right candidate because it's an offensive coordinator, especially if you watch him this year progress and whatever Bryce Young says all good about him, especially Bryce Young. If Bryce Young has an amazing year and he says all good things about him, that's going to be a heavy influence as well.
And in college, aren't you you are the GM? Remember Pete Carroll's famous comment when he went to USC from the NFL? He said this before he went back to the NFL. But when he went to USC from the NFL, he said, the reason I love coaching in college is I got 25 first-round draft picks. And that's kind of how it is. You're recruiting, and so you're everybody you're dealing with first-round draft. And then this is Pete Thamel's number 1 target for USC.
Yeah.
Number 1 target for USC. And I got to be honest with you. I don't really agree with this one. This is to me is a little bit of a reach for me.
I'm standing here on the Thom Abraham patio of the Vanderbilt football facility where you broadcasted your show. I mean, you think I was kidding. This is actually, we renamed it the Thom Abraham patio at the Vanderbilt football practice facility. Got your name up there, got lights. It's unbelievable. Got people serving lemonades and fresh watermelon and everything else.
He's got the charisma. He would work great in L.A. His buyout is only $4 million. He has got Penn State, competitive every single year. But that's his dream job.
Yeah.
That's the job he's always wanted. He's a Pennsylvania guy. He was the coach in waiting at Maryland. He's a Big Ten guy. Do you leave Penn State, which is a 100% college town, everything? There's no NFL teams. You don't deal with the Chargers and the Rams and everything else. At Penn State, he is the king of Happy Valley. Do you leave Penn State to go coach I don't know. I mean, in a town where they have the Rams, the Chargers, and UCLA, is USC the number 1 thing in L.A.? I don't know that I don't know if I make that move if I'm James Franklin.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's solid at Penn State. I think that's how is that not a historic and a good program to work for? and the things that you have done. And I think and I think he does have better job security by being at Penn State. Like, you go over to USC, who knows? Like, he might be out in 3 or 4 years.
Well, I don't think
Or
Penn
4.
State would put
They'd
up
give
with
him
a
4.
bunch of
They would give him
eight-win.
4.
I don't think they would put up with a bunch of 8-win years.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah.
I could see it. You know.
Well, it's kind of like I've heard David Shaw get thrown around, and it's like, what has he done at Stanford? Like, it was good for a little bit, and then it kind of fell off the rails.
No, it hasn't fallen off.
I'm not falling off the rails.
USC.
It's consistent, but
he's consistently good at a place that's really, really tough to win. I think David Shaw's a hell of a coach.
Well, we would have
for
said
that program.
Jim Harbaugh then when he made Stanford to turn them around.
He was a hell of a college coach as well. That went to the NFL and took a team to the Super Bowl.
But what is he doing now in Michigan?
Well, he 2-0. I mean,
2-0.
He had a terrible
Can't beat
year.
Ohio State. Can't beat Ohio State though.
Well, you're right, but I'm just saying. I don't know that.
That's like if Gus was 2-0 and couldn't beat Bama for so many years.
I think Gus is the only one that could beat Bama.
I'm saying like they just keep Gus around at Auburn if he was 2-0 and just couldn't beat Bama all the time. I mean, come on, you can't tell me that. I mean, is Jim Harbaugh a better coach than Gus Malzahn?
Yes.
Okay. See, then I mean,
actually, I'd say yes to that. I think I would say yes. I don't know.
I don't know. Right?
It's close. Yeah, it's close. By the way, to our question about the Manning's text window. With the Mannings, no play-by-play guy is needed. Do it like a baseball practice. Alternate quarters between the two. No. They are commentators. They are color analysts. They are not play-by-play guys. You need a guy to set the formation and to say what's second down and 3. You need a guy that when they break the huddle to say 2 receivers come to the right, 1 to the left, and offset back, and you need a play-by-play guy. Don't take away the play-by-play guy. You can't just have 2 guys. You can't put color commentators in there by themselves. It'd be like putting Pat McAfee in there. You know what I mean? He's a color commentator.
Yeah.
You need a professional play-by-play guy. Time on the clock, what the formation is, and so on and so forth. Let's get a break. We'll come back and wrap it up with our SEC Top 10 next, right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Have you got your tickets yet? Single-game tickets for the Rocket City Trash Pandas full season are still available. Every Friday and Saturday night at Toyota Field ends with fireworks, and after the completion of every Sunday game, kids get to run the bases. You can reserve your spot at Toyota Field for any of the remaining Trash Pandas home games right now. Go to TrashPandasBaseball.com to get your tickets while supplies last. Trash Pandas Baseball. Ignite the season.
Have you ever turned your back on God? Have you ever absolutely known the right thing to do and just turned around and walked away in disobedience? I know that I have. Aren't we thankful for our great and merciful God who loves us and forgives us and remembers our sin no more? I'm so thankful that his mercies are fresh every day. I need that, and I suspect you do too. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, and if you're looking for a church home, come see us. We're smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, and check us out at cpcfamily.org.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer here. Baumhauer's Victory Grill is your big game headquarters all fall long. And with our new fall features, every day is game day at Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Try our pregame starters, including our homemade onion strings, always fresh hot lips, and our all-new Buffalo Dippin' Chicken appetizer. Our main events include incredible chicken, fish, and shrimp selections, always featuring local Alabama Gulf seafood. And don't forget our Sunday Blitz, 11 to 6. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Thom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Maybe the air doesn't blow like it should, or it's needing new tires, or you're just ready for something newer. It's time to move up, time to trade up. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and it's the perfect time to trade in and trade up because your current car or truck is worth more than you know. In fact, we'll buy your vehicle even if you don't trade. We have nearly 100 Ford Blue Advantage certified pre-owned models to choose from. Our Ford Gold certified or low mileage, gently used vehicles with great warranties. They've passed a 172-point inspection by certified technicians, come with a 24-hour roadside assistance, plus a full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. It's the perfect time to trade in and trade up because your vehicle is worth more right now at Woody Anderson Ford. Corner of Jordan Lane and Sparkman Drive. Hope to see you soon.
Earn cash back every time you shop. Now through September 24th, during Lowe's Just for Pros event, you can earn up to $150 in statement credits when you're approved for a Lowe's Business Rewards card from American Express and join the Lowe's for Pros loyalty program. This exclusive offer is only for new eligible Lowe's Business Rewards card members, so apply today at lowes.com/businesscredit. Lowe's, the new home for pros. More terms apply. U.S. only.
At Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, people call the award-winning burgers totally insane, which is a compliment because Bad Daddy's Burgers are just that, chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness built with premium Angus beef. They're bold and they're bad. Pair one with one of their signature cocktails or assortment of local craft brews. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, 2317 Memorial Parkway. Check out our menu and even order online at BadDaddy'sBurgerBar.com.
People stay just a little bit longer. We want to play just a little bit longer.
Final segment of the show is brought to you by TOC Sports. For all your orthopedic needs, it's TOC Sports. Did you know that when your regular doctor says, you know, I think you should see an orthopedic specialist, here's a referral, you can say to him, on the off chance that he doesn't refer you to TOC Sports, you can say to him, hey, I would like to see the docs at TOC Sports. You just flat out tell him that, and boom, you'll be seeing a doc at TOC Sports. I mean, chances are that's who they're going to refer you to anyway, but just in case, you can see the docs at TOC Sports. Speaking of coaching gigs, have you seen this, Grizz? There are more than whispers already off of Florida State's stunning loss to Jacksonville State.
Woo!
Which I had to explain to people in a national article is not in Jacksonville, Florida. Because they're like, oh, Florida State, Jacksonville State, oh, they must be right down to I-10. No, they're not. It's Jacksonville, Alabama. Anyway, there's so much grumbling already about Mike Norvell. I mean, remember what happened last year with the players and the socials. There's more than grumblings about Deion Sanders to Florida State as the head football coach.
Oh, wow.
They beat Eddie George and Tennessee State down pretty good this past week. I think they're 2-0, maybe 3-0, something like that to start the season. And you know, Deion is outrageous, obviously Florida State guy. Yeah. But what kind of a staff could he assemble Deion Sanders to Florida State? Can you imagine?
Yeah, and I mean, I could imagine that because I could see them just making some crazy move thinking that it's going to, like, help the program. And I'm not saying that Deion Sanders isn't a good coach or can't coach, but can he coach when it comes to being a Power 5 program?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what he's trying to prove right now.
Look, I get it. It looks cool. He's doing a great thing for HBCUs. I think it's really awesome. But, like, you're not going to do the same things at Florida State like you're going to be able to do at these HBCUs. Like, you can
about some of the stupidest stuff. Did you hear his rant about HBCUs not having names on the back of their jerseys?
And
he's like, does it cost that much? It's $5 a jersey. He goes, I'll pay for the whole
clearly
league
because
to put names on the back of their jerseys.
And that's the thing. It's like, I don't have a problem with names or not names. I mean, I used to hear both ways where coaches like
Notre
it where
Dame doesn't have their
yeah,
names
everyone's the same, or you got to have the name on because of mommy and daddy. No. But maybe these colleges can't afford it. Maybe these colleges are putting money elsewhere.
Some coaches don't like it. See, Notre Dame only puts the names on their jerseys for a bowl game.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing. I mean, that's a kind of a unique thing. But, other places don't like it. So, But anyway, that rumor is out there.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's the Tuesday Top 10.
Top 10 SEC teams as I see it right now. Right now, we haven't had a lot of not a big body of work here, but I'm just saying from what we're seeing right now. I say in the four in the swirly, the four that are circling the drain, Carolina and UT, you go back into swirly. LSU and State, you guys are out barely, like climbing out of the bowl. You know what I mean? Like their fingertips are just kind of climbing out of the bowl. But you guys get out. Mizzou. And it's still in there. And Vandy, yeah, okay, nice win, but you're still in the crapper. Number 10 best team in the SEC right now. All right, Mississippi State. Number 9, LSU. I know. He beat his kid. It wasn't a great win, but it's they're number 9. Number 8, Kentucky. Number 7, Auburn. Moving up 4 spots. Number 6, Arkansas. I mean, that is a fantastic win. The Hogs move up to number 6. Number 5, A&M. And I almost put A&M behind Arkansas because they pretty near lost to Colorado. But I'll hold A&M at 5. Moving up a little bit, Florida to number 4. I jumped them over A&M. The Florida to the 4 hole. With Anthony Richardson, maybe even more. Number 3, Ole Miss. Number 2, Georgia. And number 1, Alabama. All right, that's going to do it for us today. Coming up next, it's Chuck Oliver. And he'll be followed by Paul Feinbaum. And then it's The Drive with Wes and Steve. Are they at the Furniture Factory tonight, Grizz? Yep. They'll be at the Furniture Factory tonight. Go on down there, chow out at the Furniture Factory with Wes and Steve. For Chad Gwathney, who mixed the show, I'm Thom Abraham. And this is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.